12th of September, Rabbi Rashi, Ki-Savo.
Okay, very good. Let's start toward the end of the Parsha, Bez Hashem. Um, let's take a look in Perek Chaf Tes. We'll start with Pasuk Aleph.
Test.
Okay.
That's Test is not in all. I see. I'm in the version. Okay. All right. Vayikra Moshe Elkom Vayomer Aleihem Atem Reisem Eis Ol Asher Asa Hashem the Nathan the Eretz Mitzrayim the Pharaoh Ulakol Avada Ulakol Arso. Moshe summoned all of Israel who have seen before your eyes in the land of Egypt, Pharaoh and all his slaves, into all his land. Let's see, Rashi.
I'm not getting you very clearly. I'm not sure. Is there your microphone set well?
It's set like normal. I can move it better. I can move it closer. Is that any better?
See, let's try it out. We'll see.
Okay, so I don't see.
Right. So there's no Rashi on this first pasuk, if I'm not mistaken.
Right here?
Yeah.
What? I'm not so. Hagidollah, Asher Ra'u, Einecha, Ha'otot, Ha'mufim, Hagdolim, Ha's'adim. The great trial that your eyes beheld, those great signs and wonders. No Rashi on that. Below Nasan Hashem Lechem laid Lada'ah. The Einayim, Lir'os, the Aznayim, Lismoa, Ad Hayom Hazeh. But did not give a heart to know what I speak here until this day. Now this is Rashi. But Hashem did not give you the heart to know. That is working on the sign of the whole of blessings completion until this day. I have heard that day on which Moshe gave the book of the Torah to the sons of as it is written. Moshe wrote and gave it to the Kohanim, the sons of all Israel came before Moshe and said, Moshe, our master, we just we accepted him. Speak to us.
One second. One second. Lou, I'm not let's see. audio. Is it my audio? Mary, are you hearing Lou fairly well or not? Mary, you there?
I'm here.
Do you
Can you
hear
hear
Lou
me?
well? You hear Lou?
No, I can't hear him so well.
You can't hear me so well either? Uh,
No.
all right, let me check my audio.
Well, right now it's better.
Okay. Well, that's, let's see, test speaker.
Good morning, Roy. How are
Can you
you?
hear me?
Good morning, Rabbi. First, good morning, Lewis. Good morning, my ear.
Hi, good morning, Roy.
Sorry, I'm
Right,
late. I
we're
can't
in
get
your,
this
if
in
you look
my
in your
ear.
Chumash, can you hear me well?
All right, where are we?
Chapter Chavtes, chapter 29.
Chapter 29. All right. And Pasuk.
Pasuk, we start with Pasuk Aleph.
Uh-huh. Okay.
You want to read over Pasuk Aleph and base?
Okay, I just changed my microphone. Is that any better?
But much better.
Yeah, very good. That's good, much better, sure.
Okay, it was on the wrong microphone somehow. I don't know what happened. All right,
All right,
you want
we're
you
good. Yeah, let's just review Pasuk Aleph and base.
okay. Moshe summoned all of Israel and said to them, "You have seen everything that Hashem did before your eyes in the land of Egypt to Paro and to all his slaves and to all his land. The great trials that your eyes beheld, those great signs and wonders. But Hashem did not give you a heart to know, or eyes to see, or ears to hear until this day." And then in the Rashi, it says that a heart to know means to recognize the kindness of Hashem and to cleave to Him.
Right, so,
And then it says,
so first of all, this reinforces what I mentioned constantly, that many times, maybe most no, most all times, when the lave is referred to, it's not referring to the organ in the body which is pumping the blood, right? But in these cases, we're talking about the mind, right? Lave ladas is a reference to that the person should be able to recognize, in this case, the Chazdei Hashem, the great kindness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the mercy that he bestows upon the person. That's something which is not in the heart, in the physical organ of the heart. It's talking about the mind of the person. The person recognizes something with his mind. Now, when it says about a lave ladas, so we want to explore this a little bit. Let's review the Rashi. What did Rashi say again? One more time with the Rashis.
okay, but Hashem did not give you a heart to know, to recognize the kindnesses of the Holy and Blessed be He, and to cleave to Him.
So there are two things. There's number one, recognizing the mercies of the Kadosh Baruch Hu, and to cleave to to connect with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. So I want to spend a few minutes now trying to understand the connection between those two things. How can we understand that a bit?
No, fresh.
You also mentioned you didn't.
No, you made it up.
No, you're right. Why not?
Uh,
But I'm saying, why are you saying, why not? Why?
So the primary, the primary usage of our mind is to recognize the Kadosh Baruch Hu, right? If you ask around, why do human beings have such big brains, comparatively speaking, with other creatures? Because it's not easy to recognize the Kadosh Baruch Hu, right? You have to do a lot of thinking to recognize the Kadosh Baruch Hu. It's not something it's not going to come to you automatically. It's not like, you know, you feel the wind on your face. There's wind. You feel some rain on your nose. There's rain. Not the Kadosh Baruch Hu is not going to be known and understood through physical experience, right? But that's not a fully complete thought, because really the way we do, as Rashi mentions here, we come to recognize the Kadosh Baruch through his chesed, what he disposes upon, how he treats us, right? And we only understand those things really through his physical interaction with this world, and we have to use our brains now to transfer that to a recognition of a Kadosh Baruch Hu, right? That we say the Shemayim Misaprim Kavod Kale, V'har it's Moli Chazdo, right? The heavens, if you look into the heavens are going to teach you about the greatness of a Kadosh Baruch Hu. That's what a Kadosh Baruch Hu created, such magnificent things going on in the heavens. If you look at the heavens, that's supposed to come, you're supposed to appreciate and come to an understanding of a Kadosh Baruch Hu through what you see in the heavens. But if you look at the La'aretz, right, that's filled with the Kadosh Baruch Hu's mercy. Hashemayim misaprin kavodoi v'gam haaretz malahazdoi. The whole world is filled with his mercy. That everything that's taking place in this world is through mercifulness of a Kadosh Baruch Hu's mercies. Just to tie in a little bit what we were learning this past week, I'll let you in on a few things we learned this past week, Roy. That you look at the mountains, right? We're learning the Sefer Kadeh Kemach. He's explaining to us the great mercy HaKadosh Baruch Hu did by making mountain ranges, that the winds would be too strong for people to live comfortably if the winds were not interrupted by the mountain ranges. That when you have mountain ranges, the winds are deflected, they're slowed down, and it makes it pleasant for people to live. Without that, people would be living in areas that would be filled with winds that would be not so pleasant to live with. So therefore, Kadosh Baruch Hu placed and arranged the mountains that they should be used as barriers, windbreakers, as they say, to do exactly that, to break the wind. And therefore, life is more pleasant for us. That's just one example of a Kadosh Baruch Hu's mercy in dealing with us. So it takes time to think about that. It takes time to realize that. But really, as the pasuk says, The Haaretz is Molei Chazdai. That's a pasuk we say. I think it's a pasuk in Tehillim, if I'm not mistaken. Let's take a look. We'll just double check. We'll take a double check. Trying to find what it is. That let's take a look where that is. Right. So Yud Tes Base. 1 second. I think it might be in Tehillim Yud Tes Base. Hold on. Take a look. Well, the first part of the pasuk is there. That's the first part of the pasuk. I'm not sure it's a good quote, right? Hashemayim misaprin kavod kale, right? The heavens are speaking, tell of the greatness, the glory of Hakadosh Baruch Hu, and haaretz malei chazdo. Gam haaretz malei chazdo. Okay, right. So that's actually not a pasuk. It's based on our knowledge. Haaretz malei chazdo. Interesting. You know that's not a pasuk. I always thought it was a pasuk, right? Hashemayim misaprin kavod kale, va'aretz malei chazdo. Only the first part of the pasuk is a pasuk. V'gam haaretz malei chazdo. That's not a pasuk. So that that makes it even more appropriate because it's something you should it's something you should be able to perceive. You don't need a pasuk for that. It's not needed a pasuk. You were supposed to realize that, but let's take a look. Let's take a look at the rest of the Rashi there, okay? Ad hayom hazeh.
Ad hayom hazeh, until this day, Shemati, I have heard, She'oso hayom she'nasan Moshe safek haTorah lifnei Levi. On that day,
That's
what?
Sefer Torah. Sefer.
Uh, on that day on which Moshe gave the book of the Torah to the sons of Levi, Kamosha Kasuv, as it is written, Vayitna el Hakohanim b'nei Levi. Moshe wrote this Torah and he gave it to the Kohanim, the sons of Levi. Ba'u kol Yisrael lifnei Moshe. All Israel came before Moshe. Vamru lo, and they said to him, Moshe Rabbeinu, Moshe, our teacher, Af anu amadnu b'Sinai. We also were standing at Sinai. Ukabal no es haTorah, and we received the Torah. V'natnach lanu, and it was given to us. Uma ata mashlit es b'nei shiftecha aleha, and why did you put the sons of your tribe in charge of it? V'yomaru lanu yom mechar, so that one day they may say to us, Lo lachem nitna, it was not given to you. Lanu nitna, it was given to us. V'samach Moshe al ha-davar
So Moshe Moshe Rabbeinu was happy over this.
Hang on, I'm sorry,
right.
I've got lost.
Moshe was happy over the matter.
Sorry, I've got lost.
Right. Okay. So what does it mean? The pasuk says here, Ad hayom hazeh. So Rashi is explaining what happened on that day. Right?
Right?
What happened on that day? That day was a very special day. That was the day that Moshe Rabbeinu gave the Sefer Torah to Bnei Levi.
Right?
Right? And what was the reaction of Klal Yisrael when they saw that?
They were unhappy.
And why were they unhappy? Because they wanted to have the Torah as well. They said, we stood on our Sinai. We were Makabel the Torah too. You can't just give it to Bnei Levi. And Moshe Rabbeinu was happy about that. Right? So why was Moshe Rabbeinu happy about that?
Because he says, on this day, I see that you desire Hashem.
Now, there's a big question here. Moshe Rabbeinu has been leading Klal Yisrael for 40 years in the Midbar. Right?
Right?
These are these people. These are the people he's prayed for. These are the people he saved from destruction, physical destruction, spiritual destruction. He saved them from the gezeres of Kadosh Baruch Hu against them. He saved them from the kings, Melech Og Bashan. Sichon and Og. He was mevatel gezeres against them, and now at the end, this is taking place on the last day of his life. 40 years of leading Klal Yisrael. Now he realizes that these people he's been living and teaching and leading for 40 years, now he realizes it's about them. It's not a delayed reaction. Sounds like a delayed reaction to me. Let's see if anyone makes any comments about this. Well, not too many comments about this. Take a look here. There's one explanation here. Let's see. All right, we'll have to leave this. It could be what led Moshe Rabbeinu to make this statement that Klal Yisrael was not willing to forgo on the Torah. They see that Klal Yisrael, the Levim are going to get the Torah, and they're not. So they came to protest against Moshe Rabbeinu's desire to give the Levim the Torah and them not. That shows, or apparently that showed Moshe Rabbeinu that Klal Yisrael was honestly interested in serving Kadosh Baruch Hu. That they weren't willing to let the Torah pass through their hands. Could it be that for all 40 years, Moshe Rabbeinu didn't know and think that Klal Yisrael wanted to have a connection with the Kodesh Baruch Hu?
Hello. Do you speak English? You have medicine?
Okay. Let's go to another pasuk. By Shishi. That's in chapter 28, pasuk Zion. Chapter 28, pasuk 7. Okay. Okay, we're now in chapter 28, verse 7. Who would like to read? Any volunteers?
Sorry, I got called away. I can read now if you want.
Okay. 28,
28:7.
28, 7, right.
28:7. Okay, let's see. 7. Yitain Hashem es oivecha hakamim alecha nigafim lefanecha b'derech echad yetz'u elecha uveshiv'a derachim yanusu lefanecha. Hashem shall cause your enemies to rise up against you, to be struck down before you. On one road they will go out toward you, and on 7 roads they will flee before you.
Right, so
Rashi,
what's that? I'll stop.
pardon?
Yeah, go ahead. What do you want to say, Lou?
I was going to say Rashi. There's a Rashi on this.
Mhm.
On 7 roads shall they flee before you. Such is the way of those who panic to escape. They scatter in all directions. Let's see, is there more Rashi? No, there's no more Rashi on this. So the Rashi is not really very helpful.
Well, I'm concerned about the first part of the pasuk. What's the first part of the pasuk say?
Hashem shall cause your enemies to rise up against you. Yeah, that concerns me too. Why, if this is the blessing, we're in the blessings here. So
Right.
why is this part of a blessing that the enemies will rise up against us? That doesn't sound like a blessing.
Ah, very good, very good. That's exactly the point. Exactly the point. So I would just say as I would just say as a preface to the whole discussion that we sometimes don't realize what's what's beneficial, what's really beneficial for us. Obviously, you ask anybody, you know, peace and quiet, that's going to be great, right? Just let me sit my pina coladas at the swimming pool and life goes on. Happy Dory. Um,
Yeah, it sounds good.
yeah, I have here. I think, yeah, I haven't read it to you in a while, but I saved this when the kid. This is when the kids were young. We got some breakfast cereals for the kids, right? I know. Let me show you can see this. This thing's wild. Yeah,
Banana nut crunch.
there you go. Okay, so now this is on the back of the breakfast cereal box. Okay,
Yeah.
this is what kids this is what kids were eating and reading about when they were munching on their banana nut crunch. So that Post cereals is now teaching the new generation of Americans what life should be like. So listen to this. We should all aspire to live like bananas. In my generation, when they said you're bananas, they're saying you're crazy. And now
Yeah.
they're saying we should all aspire to live like bananas. Boy, what's so good about being a banana? Roy, did you ever wonder what's being so good about a banana?
Constantly.
Not recently. I I never thought about being a banana before, but here the whole generation of American children grew up on this stuff. Why? What's the great deal about being a banana? They are they are on a permanent vacation. Bananas are on a permanent vacation, living in lush tropical rainforests. From high above, a canopy of trees provides the perfect balance of sun and shade. So therefore, we should all aspire to be bananas. That they're on a permanent vacation. And it doesn't tell you what happens when the monkey comes along and gobbles you up.
Yeah.
So that's what that's what the world is like. The world wants to be on a permanent vacation. That's the worst thing for them. Sometimes sometimes if you have to get up and you have to have an enemy come against you, it could be the best thing for you. If you slip into a certain situation where life is simply not what it's supposed to be in terms of what Hashem wants from you. So therefore, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, for your own benefit, will sometimes send enemies to fight against you. So that's a brocha, and that could be a brocha.
Is that what's happening now?
What do you what in terms of what particular aspects of things are happening? What do you mean?
Well, the terrorists rose up against us, and now we're being very successful in fighting against them. They're fleeing from us like crazy. We're fighting a war on 7 fronts, and we're winning all 7 fronts.
Well, could be the question is though, you know, the the military victories, strategically speaking, don't really have much effect strategically. We're not really strategic. We're not strategically any more secure than we were 50, 60 years ago. It could be that.
I don't agree with that, Rabbi. 50, 60
Yeah,
years
well,
ago, we were fighting for survival. We're not fighting for survival anymore. Our military is relatively strong. I mean, look at the success we had in Iran. I mean, it was miraculous. We flew so many missions over Iran, and we didn't lose one plane.
right.
That was to me, that's a miracle. That's clear. Hashem is helping us.
Well, I mean, I was told a few months ago that Israel's the only country in the world that by public law you have to have a bomb shelter in your residence.
Well, that's a good point.
That doesn't that doesn't give me much confidence in the security situation.
Well, but look at how successful we are in defending ourselves from all those missiles.
Well,
And
yeah, well,
I don't even go to the safe room anymore. I hear the
yeah.
siren and I say, "Oh, that's interesting. There's another siren."
Mhm. It's a it's somewhat paradoxical because on the one hand you're living in the midst of tremendous dangers, right?
Right?
Can't say can't say that these missiles are not dangerous, and at the same time you can't say that Hashem is going to come to our aid each and every time. There have been times when they have failed, and there have been times when they've been destructive, right?
That's true. Definitely.
And we may not see it, right? So, but the one thing that we can say and we know they're certainly there to try and arouse us, but on one hand, that Hashem has a lot of mercy with us. Part of the mercy, and that's what I think we see from this pasuk here. Part of the mercy that Hashem has is He's not willing to let us go to sleep.
Right?
He wants us to, He wants to wake us up. He wants us to be successful in serving Him. So that could be what this pasuk is intimating to. Hashem's going to bring, because again, We know that Kadosh Baruch Hu is bringing the enemies against us, right?
Right?
That's Hashem's putting things in their minds. If He wants to arouse us through those methods, we should pray and hope that we should be worthy and we don't need such methods, right?
Right?
That's one of the things that's said during Elul, that a person, by learning the proper svarim that will arouse him to do tshuva, he won't need the extra blanket examples of HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanting him to do tshuva to things happening to him. It's much better if you can pick up a sefer, learn and take to heart what the words say to you in a sefer, rather than has to show him to have things happen to a person.
Right?
It could be we have the two different minhagim during Elul. The Ashkenaz minhag is we blow shofar. That's the one primary thing we do differently during Elul in preparation for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. The Sephardim, they've been saying Slichas for the last 3 weeks. We, Ashkenazim, will be starting to say Slichas this Yom Rishon. So for us, the Ashkenazim, we're supposed to, it's not always so effective, but we're supposed to take the shofar to heart. We're supposed to listen to that shofar each and every morning. And we're supposed to use that shofar as a motivation to arouse ourselves, to prepare ourselves for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. And that's without doing anything behaviorally. The Sephardim say, no, we need to do something behaviorally. We have to get up extra early, we have to say extra slichos, and through that we'll be aroused to do tshuva and get ready for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Kadosh Baruch Hu, He's waiting for these things to be effective, for us to change. And as we said from the first pasuk we started off there, we should want to have devekis. We should want to connect with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. But Kadosh Baruch Hu is waiting for the shofar to take effect. He's waiting for slichos to take effect. That we should want to have a connection with the Kadosh Baruch Hu and serve Him, learn His Torah, and everything else. And if so, very good. But if not, then Hashem has to take other measures. And that could be what this first part of the pasuk is referring to. These are the other measures that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to use, if necessary, to arouse us. Okay, I have a few minutes left. Let's say another pasuk or two.
All right. Should I go on to 8 or do you want to go somewhere else?
Yeah, no, this is good. Continue on.
Yitzav Hashem itcha es habaracha ba'asamecha uvechol mishlach yadecha uveirachcha ba'aretz asher Hashem Elokecha nosein lach. Hashem will command the blessing for you in your storehouses and your every undertaking, and He will bless you in the land that Hashem your God gives you. Let's see what Rashi, there's no Rashi, but I would wonder to continue my question about and analyzing this for today, I wonder if Hashem hasn't in fact done this, hasn't blessed us financially. You would think, or I would think that given that we're on a wartime economy, that we'd be suffering financially, that we would find that prices have gone up sky high, and inflation is crazy, and there are shortages, kind of like the situation in America in World War II. And we haven't seen that. We see that Hashem is filling our storehouses, and we're doing just fine, despite the fact that we're really overextending ourselves, and with all these wars, all these fronts that we're fighting on. It seems to me it's amazing. It's a miracle.
Yeah, I mean, what you're saying is true to some extent. I mean, look, the VAT tax used to be 17%, now it's 18%. There are many people who, because they have to serve in the army, they've had to close their businesses. They've had to be relieved from their jobs in some way or another, right? So it's not exactly comfortable at all for many people.
Right? True.
No, there's from what I've been told, there was a lot of destruction to the farmlands in the north, especially a lot of fires and destruction. That ruined their crops, ruined their fields. So,
And nevertheless, I don't see that food prices have gone up as a result of that.
yeah, I mean, okay, I mean, I remember at the beginning of the war, you couldn't get onions from Turkey. I remember that, something like that.
Right.
So, but
I remember a few years ago, before the war started, you couldn't get butter.
yeah,
I remember one time going to this store to buy butter, and they had some butter. And so I grabbed 3 butters, and when I got to the checkout, they said, no, you can't buy more than 1. They were rationing the butter. But that was
right,
before
right.
the war started.
Hmm. I remember, I think wasn't it in last year in America they had prices of eggs went crazy high.
I do remember reading something about that. Prices of eggs
Someone
went
told
up.
me that. Yeah, somebody told me that they had to kill a lot of chickens, and they killed too many chickens. They didn't figure that if they killed the chickens, there'd be no eggs. They didn't they didn't learn that in elementary school.
Right. Well, that's because they were acting like bananas.
You're right. It's a vicious cycle, and unfortunately, it's self-perpetuating as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's paradoxical at the same time. Hashem is giving us very big lessons and very big. He's talking to us very directly. On the other hand, things in a general way seem to be more or less very business as usual.
Yeah. Yeah. It's strange.
Yeah. I guess one of the lessons is we shouldn't become complacent, meaning, in spite of the fact that Hashem's being kind and providing for us. Actually, Rashi says this in the Shira Sayam. Hashem is Ish Mochama. If you take a look there in the pasuk, Hashem Ish Mochama, I think Ish Mochama, I think is the Shem Yud Kei Vav Kei, which represents Chesed, Rachamim, mercy. How is it that the shame of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when it comes to Ish Mochama, that it's merciful? Because if I'm not mistaken, Rashi mentions there that Kadosh Baruch Hu is different than a king who's Basar V'Dam. A king, when he's Basar V'Dam and he's fighting a war, he has to devote all his energies. The whole energies of the kingdom are devoted for the success of the war effort. Kadosh Baruch Hu can be waging war and he can still be providing the food for everybody, still be providing for a comfortable life for many people.
Right.
So apparently what we're witness to here, but I think we have to remember it's even more of a reason to come and want to connect, become mizdavek to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu is doing these things for us, even under these circumstances when he's apparently not exactly so happy with us, so then we should realize that we have work to do. And I guess that's the hopefully the preparation we can work on for preparation for Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur. So okay, today anyway, getting ready for Shabbos. So Mitzvah Hashem, I hope to see you Yom Rishon. Bez Hashem.
Thank you, Rabbi.
All of you have a good Erev Shabbos. Thank you, Roy.